This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The mother of a murdered child tells his story. The curfew reinstated for 3 islands. As the health minister says, fewer than half of healthcare workers have been vaccinated. And the marijuana bill revealed. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, May 20th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be here, filling in for Laverne Gardner after their swap yesterday. Also this morning, it is Nurses Month. It is Critical Care Awareness Month. It is EMS Week. We're going to be talking about all of that this morning. And about opportunities, training, pay for these valuable folks in these fields. Then later in Morning Blend Business, today we will have the Abaco Chamber of Commerce president on with us this morning as we talk about the economy in Abaco nearly 2 years after Hurricane Dorian. A lot to get to this morning, but first it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the resolution to extend the state of emergency for another 3 months quickly passed in the House of Assembly as Prime Minister Dr. Britt has announced new restrictions for Andros, the Berry Islands, and Cat Island amid rising COVID cases. Prime Minister speaking in the House yesterday, he said that on the recommendation of health officials because of concern for an increase in cases on those islands, the daily curfew will now be from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. effective today. Curfews had recently been dropped for all islands except for Grand Bahama and New Providence. Andros and the Berry Islands have seen heightened numbers of COVID cases in recent weeks. As of Tuesday, Andros had recorded 126 COVID cases in total since the start of the 126 since the start of the pandemic. Of them, 31 were confirmed just since May 1st. 81 cases have been confirmed in the Berry Islands in total, 24 of which were recorded this month. And Cat Island recorded 19 cases in 2 days this week, bringing the total for that island to 35 as of Tuesday. Prior to May, the island had recorded only 10 COVID cases in total. Prime Minister said health teams are being sent to those islands to investigate the outbreaks. He says that vaccination teams will also be deployed to those islands. Now, while the Prime Minister expressed hope earlier this week that the Bahamas will be in a position to abandon the state of emergency before the 3 months expire, PLP leader Philip Brave Davis was doubtful as he noted his party's opposition to the extension. Davis and government members butted heads at several points during the debate yesterday, with the tension culminating in the PLP leader cutting his contribution short and the government moving to wrap up debate and pass a resolution early after only 4 MPs had contributed to the debate. Meanwhile, Health Minister Renward Wells saying that 24% of Bahamians in priority groups have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Fewer than half of the country's healthcare workers have been vaccinated. Wells expressing concern over vaccine hesitancy and encouraged more healthcare workers in particular to get vaccinated. He also said the government is seeking to source Pfizer vaccine so children can be vaccinated. Wells said that as of yesterday, more than 40,000 people had taken the vaccine in the country. He said vaccine hesitancy is no doubt contributing to the lower numbers. The mother of 15-year-old Ken Paul, the 11th grade government high school student who was stabbed to death on Tuesday, inconsolable as she described the moment she found out her youngest son had been killed. She said yesterday she was at work when she received a phone call from the school's principal. Between sobs, she spoke to the press yesterday, saying that when she reached the hospital, that they wouldn't allow her to see her son. On Tuesday, Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters said police were called to GHS after 1 p.m. and met two 11th grade students lying in the corridor. EMS arrived and pronounced Ken dead. The other student was taken to the hospital. According to police, preliminary investigations revealed that two students were in the corridor having a conversation with one another when they were approached by two other students who started an altercation, and that edged tools were produced and two of those students were stabbed. And the government's proposed medicinal cannabis bill would establish an authority to lay out the framework of a medical marijuana industry in the country that would enable the licensed cultivation, importation, exportation, processing, transportation, and research of medical cannabis. The legislation, a copy of which was obtained by the Nassau Guardian, would allow for medical doctors to issue prescriptions for marijuana for patients aged 21 and older that could be filled at local pharmacies. The government is proposing to decriminalize possession of up to 2 ounces of cannabis, according to the draft of the Dangerous Drugs Amendment Bill 2021. A copy of this bill, also obtained by the Nassau Guardian, says that possession of amounts over 2 ounces or possession of 2 or more packets continue to constitute the offense of possession with intent to supply. Additionally, the Dangerous Drugs Bill introduces a reduction of penalties for the possession of small quantities of cannabis by providing for a fixed penalty for such possession and to treat a person so convicted as a rehabilitated person for the purposes of the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act. Overseas, Israel unleashing another wave of airstrikes across the Gaza Strip today, killing at least one Palestinian and wounding several as it pushed ahead despite U.S. calls to wind down the offensive against Gaza's militant Hamas rulers, who have fired thousands of rockets at Israel. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu facing mounting pressure from his country's closest ally, the U.S., but appears determined to inflict maximum damage on Hamas in a war that could help save his political career. Still, diplomatic efforts to secure a ceasefire gathered pace, with officials close to the talks saying they expect a truce to be announced in the next 24 hours. Explosions shook Gaza City, and orange flares lit up the pre-dawn sky, with bombing raids also reported in other nearby towns. In sports, Bombers took an early 1-0 lead against El Salvador, but they couldn't hold on and eventually fell 7-2 to end their group stage play of the 2021 CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships. In Costa Rica, the Bahamas advances to the quarterfinals as the best third-place team out of Group B, thanks to its neighbor Turks and Caicos, who also fell 6-4 to Trinidad and Tobago and secured the worst third-place team position on goal difference. The Bahamas will now play against Mexico in the quarterfinals in the first game tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time. Today is rest day for the final 8 teams as they look to strategize and recover for tomorrow's knockout round. And in just his second game back since his 3-week hiatus due to hamstring strain, Jazz Chisholm Jr. sending a ball flying to right center field for his first home run since returning from the injury list. It was his 5th home run of the season, but it came in an 8-3 loss for the Miami Marlins to the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NBA, LeBron James persevered through an injured ankle, a big first-half deficit, and being poked in the eye late in the fourth quarter last night to add another highlight to his impressive resume. James made a long go-ahead three-pointer with 58.2 seconds remaining, rallying the LA Lakers to a 103-100 victory over the Golden State Warriors in a Western Conference play-in tournament game. James was poked by Draymond Green while driving to the basket with just over 2 minutes remaining. When he made the biggest shot when the defending NBA champions needed it most, his 34-foot three-pointer over Stephen Curry as the shot clock was winding down is his longest make of the season. Anthony Davis, meanwhile, scored 13 of his 25 points in the fourth quarter as the Lakers won their 6th straight and overcame a 37-point deficit from league scoring champ Curry. Golden State had a chance to send it into overtime, but they blew it. The series now means that the Lakers will play a first-round matchup with second-seeded Phoenix. That series opener is slated for Sunday afternoon. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a robust high-pressure system just north of the area that will continue to generate fresh to strong breezes across the islands, while a lingering frontal boundary coupled with streaming tropical moisture will generate some pockets of unsettled weather over the southeastern islands today. Smallcraft operators should remain in port, and beachgoers should stay out of the water due to gusty winds, high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas should also remain vigilant due to the threat of waterspout activity. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy to cloudy, warm, and windy conditions with scattered showers along with a chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas. Again, small craft operators should remain in port. Winds northeast to east at 20 to 30 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet near shore, but building 8 to 12 feet offshore. Temperature-wise right now, we're at about 76 degrees under cloudy skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic. It's time for a quick break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards on this Thursday morning. Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
You're going to mess with a lot of people's heads, you and Laverne, with this swap here.
Are we?
Yeah,
Do
yesterday.
you pay that much attention?
Apparently, and my own head, but yep.
They think I'm on Friday, so.
Well, that's a different story. But anyway, great to have you with us as always. And folks, you can join the conversation as well. We are on Twitter at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. You can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, we have a lot to talk about in the news. Also in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about nurses and EMTs and anyone in the critical care sector. It is Nurses Month. It is Critical Care Awareness Month. It is EMS Week this week. And we're going to be talking about so many issues involving these folks who played such a big part in our lives last year with the start of the pandemic and continue to and have always played a major role in helping to save people's lives and make people better. And we're going to talk about that today. Then in our 9 o'clock hour, we were to do it yesterday, but we're going to do it today. We're talking with the Abaco Chamber of Commerce President Ken Hutton. He's going to be joining us from Abaco and talking about business, the economy, life in Abaco, especially nearly 2 years after Hurricane Dorian. So a lot to get to this morning, but let's begin with what's in the news. And in the news, we are now hearing from the mother of 15-year-old Ken Paul, who was murdered at Government High School a couple of days ago. His mother speaking out in this tear-filled and emotional interview with our Jared Higgs. Take a listen.
I love my son so much. My son rescued me. I was right to me. I love my son so much.
Grieving family members tell Our News the student who was stabbed and killed at Government High School is 15-year-old Ken Paul.
Tearing me apart, because that's my only brother.
Paul and another student were reportedly talking in the corridor when they were approached by two other students. An altercation ensued, and police say knives were drawn. Paul and another boy were stabbed. He died while the other student was hospitalized.
First time the office called me when he died.
Our News spoke to Paul's grieving mother and brother at their home off Carmichael Road. They describe him as a quiet teenager who liked basketball and track and field. But his mother, Marie-Jean Gustave, admits that she had concerns about the friends he kept. She says keeping track of him was more difficult since he lived with his father on Market Street, despite her pleading for him to stay with her.
Every time I go there, I say, please give me my son. I say, I know he have bad friend on this area. I say, if you don't want to give it to me, you have to move.
Paul's brother, 19-year-old Stanley Paul, looks down as we speak. Losing his only brother has been terribly difficult. He lived with Kem and their father. Sadly, he missed a chance to see his brother for the last time on Tuesday morning.
I didn't even get to see him that morning before he going to school. I saw him that night before. We was cracking jokes and laughing. And then every morning he's normally knock on my room door and tell me give him some cologne and he's gonna tell me going to school. But I didn't even get to see him that morning.
The heartbroken brother says his younger sibling dreamt of going away to college to play sports and earn a degree. As his mother cries on his shoulder, he remembers their younger days.
Growing up, that's the only person I ever had in my life. The only closest person to me in my life.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
Yeah. Boy. What do you say? What do you say after that? And how many times? Right. How many times? How many times are we going to go through this? Talking to a mother or a father about their child being murdered. And we had a lot to say about it yesterday. I'm sure some of you are wondering why we're talking about it again.
It's necessary. It's necessary to hear how much this takes away from families and people. So you understand just how serious the situation is.
Getting a lot of reaction to this. Yeah, you're talking about this again. You really want to milk this like this. Another one. The only thing that beats the COVID news is murder. Wow. And then they go on to say, why isn't COVID important now? Oh, we'll get to COVID in a few minutes. Yeah, we will. But so what do you want to talk about then? What do you prefer to talk about? You don't want to talk about children getting murdered in your country. You don't want to talk about COVID, which is also killing people in your country. What would you prefer to talk about? Politicians and their nonsense and the promises they're going to break and the bickering and the pointing out things that they know they would have done the same thing, but criticizing it because it sounds good and it'll get support. You'd prefer that. That gets a lot of attention here. Yeah? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. And have they caught these kids yet? What's that all about?
I mean, one would think they know who and where.
Because somebody else is protecting their good children. As usual. Same thing, over and over. Always. Nothing's changing. But you're happy with that. You don't want us to talk about this. And you don't want us to talk about COVID. What do you want to talk about? Let's hear it. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How are you, buddy? Morning.
Well, I'm here. We're here. We're all here.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were hearing this problem on the phone there. Morning, Chester.
Morning.
Yeah. Several issues I'd like to touch on, Dwight. Of course, my condolences to the family that just was on the news there regarding the loss of that child at GHS. You know, the one question I would ask the Minister of Education is simply this. If schools are safe, how is it that a student was able to have been murdered on a school campus?
Well, I mean, we know the answer to that.
Yeah, you know, I know the answer.
Well, because of the crazy ways that we're raising our children, right?
Yeah, well, you know.
So, I mean, no one is ever safe if everybody around us is extremely angry and ready to snap at you at any moment.
But, you see, when the minister makes a statement like that, it sounds like an absolute statement that he's making that schools are absolutely safe.
I mean...
But, you know, I understand what he's trying to do by making that statement, but I can't ever feel comfortable that in anywhere where you're going to have the possibility or the tendency of misfits causing problems like that.
Well, that's everywhere where human beings are. So, yeah, I mean, you're not safe anywhere.
But the schools, man. Right, you and I grew up in the school systems here in this country. Did we not? Did we have these kinds of violent, life-threatening issues.
Yes, we did. I don't know. I mean,
But
I
I
was
didn't
telling
know
somebody
about them in the
yesterday.
day at C.I. Gibson, for example, where I was before I lost my sight. I did not know of any murders being taken against students, fellow students, or against teachers back then.
There might not have been murders, but they were violent.
Yes, but I'm talking about murders. That's why I
could have easily led to that. Could have, if
true enough.
Yeah.
You're right. It could have led to that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other point I wanted to mention too quickly is this debate in Parliament yesterday. The big joke is what I call it. You know, I Redwood Wells and I are good buddies, and you know I respect him as an individual person. But I was very, very disappointed with his presentation yesterday. How in heaven's name can he ever equate people not taking or taking the COVID-19 vaccine with loving God? And I supported the question that McAlpine asked. How is it then that anybody's supposed to think that we're supposed to believe that because someone does not take that vaccine that they don't love God? I mean, these politicians are so hell-bent on justifying the things that their parties do that they're coming up with the most ridiculous, dumb-headed notions around. I don't understand where these people are living, man. And then the last point I want to make in regards to the Prime Minister saying that hopefully by August of this year that there may not be any further need. The Prime Minister may as well come right out and let the Bahamian people confess to us that he wants to ring the bell for elections, as to why he's trying his best to convince us that this ailment will have been over and dealt with by August of this year. Last year, obviously, was not an election season, so you saw all the hell we, the public, caught because the Prime Minister wanted to do what he wanted to do back then. You remember that statement with immediate effect that caused him a serious backlash when he said it last year?
I mean, you could look at it that way, or you could look at him being optimistic that people will take the vaccine and that you won't need to have all of these restrictions.
That'd be a way of looking at it, but Dwight, a lot of Bahamians are not. They have no confidence in the Prime Minister's integrity anymore. So I believe that's why the numbers is so low in terms of the amount of Bahamians. And I would acknowledge I have already taken my first shot. I hesitated like crazy. I had to pray about this really to make this step. But I've taken my first shot. But my thing is, Dwight, how is it now that the Prime Minister could be so concerned about wanting to, quote unquote, open up the country with a third wave that seems to be worse than the second wave and maybe even worse than the first wave in terms of infections and deaths at the pace we're going? But yet, with the second wave, he was just hell-bent on keeping everything shut down. Why is it now that he wants to open up this economy?
Vaccine then. So
now, mind you, let me make it
that's
up. Let me make
probably
it
the answer. There was no vaccine. There was no vaccine then, and so that's probably
there was
the
no
answer.
political season back then either. My honest conviction, Dwight, is that the Prime Minister is trying to psych this country out and to get prepared for elections. Okay? He is trying everything he does. I mean, infections are going up.
Mm-hmm.
Deaths are going up or have gone up over the past few weeks.
So what would you want? You want the restrictions to continue, the emergency order to continue till December?
Right. I have mixed feelings because I see the positive and the negatives. I know we have to live with this thing, but we need to deal with it honestly as a people, but particularly as leaders. But Dwight, you cannot. The Prime Minister cannot justify opening up the economy, quote unquote, in the face of all of this third wave going on as it is. But last year, when it wasn't seemingly as bad as this third wave, everything was shut down. Either we have a medical crisis,
we can,
or we don't,
because of the vaccine.
But everybody said that the vaccine is not a cure-all.
That's fine. It just won't. It won't be serious, and the chance of death and severe hospitalization greatly reduces. That's a very significant thing.
all I can say in closing, my friend, is that right now, that bunch of people in Parliament are nothing but clowns.
Okay.
God bless you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. We've got a lot of messages. Let's read these. Someone says, how about taking a page out of Stephen Dean's playbook and speak about empowering things, young men, empowering these young men to prevent situations like this? Okay. And we do that, or at least every week. There's something. But when we have these people on, when we have guests on, when we have people talking about opportunities and things that can be done, most of you are very quiet. I hope you're listening. I don't know. But when we're talking about politics, the phones ring off the hook and the text messages are flying. So when we do that, people, oh, that was a little boring. That was, I didn't really want to hear it. Yeah. So please. People every day are asking, oh, we need programs. All these programs are here. When these folks come on these shows to tell you about their programs, you disappear. You go and look for I don't know what. So let's stop it. Yeah. Okay. This one says, as it relates to the vaccination, our government has to get creative and not force us, but rather persuade and with incentives. Like Ohio is doing. Offer a small lottery or give $50 to $100 for those that are willing to take it. Be creative. Okay. Well, they're paying for it too. So you want them to pay for the vaccine and pay you to take it. Okay. All right. We see Chester, they're steering it away from the talk about the kid getting murdered. So we're heading into the other thing. So,
He wants to
that's
address those situations.
We do need to hear from you all about what you want to talk about. That's good stuff. Okay. Someone says, can we talk about what Mr. Wells said when he stood to cape for the competent authority? He said something to the effect that the testing is run by the most able and capable. I searched for, this is not a mistake. Able and capable. Well, that shows you how capable they are. They're able and able. I searched for the word able for hours. This one here. Who are these humans that are complaining about this important topic? Yeah, I want to know. Have we become that insensitive? Yes, indeed. A child lost his life. A family lost a loved one. And all these people in editing want to do is talk about politics. How are we not furious? How or why are we politicizing everything? Why are we not trying to fix this violence issue as a people? I am sick of it. Yeah. This one says, I'm always listening. You guys talk about girls and women way more than men, only when they die. I always listen for 9 years now.
Say what now?
Okay. There's more on what. Oh boy, there's more on this. The National Security Minister and the Education Minister visited the school yesterday and spoke about all this. Take a listen to this from our Taylor Ferguson. All right, we're going to get back to that report in a bit. But they were there, and the principal at GHS was assuring that the school is safe, and apparently they do metal detection. They do look and test, and they search, and yet. Well.
Interesting.
Oh boy. Okay.
The school policing program that comes and goes, doesn't it? Like with the wind.
So where it is now, apparently, so the police are there at the start of the school day and at the evening, at the end of the day. It sounds like not on the campus. They're not there. That is what the administrators are there for, right? But not walking through the campus, not in the classrooms. So, will that make a difference? Would that make a difference? Is that what we want? Is that the type of schools that we want? Do we need to have police teaching the classes now? Is that how things have gotten? But let's hear what you have to say. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Hello, caller. Okay, there we go. Hi. Good morning. What's happening? We're hearing them. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Jester.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm the individual that sent that text earlier about fools. Right? You use people, but they are fools.
I didn't want to say that one, but okay.
In regards to this incident, I think we as a people really need to be serious about fixing this violence issue in our country. I don't believe in putting police in schools because you're saying, right, essentially you're saying that our young men are so violent that they need to be guarded from themselves. I think we need to create policies where address conflict resolution, like Stephen Dean said yesterday. We need to have a 45 an hour in the class about how to resolve conflicts. And then it goes right back to parenting, right? Like I saw something on another news site yesterday. These parents outside the gate, they had fun, things that they were saying. I'm like, no wonder the kids are violent. Mm-hmm. The parents, right? And so until we get serious about fixing this issue and stop being so stuck on politics, we're going to have this recurring problem every single year, year in, year out. And we're going to be angry for about 2 days. It's going to subside, and then we go right back to normal.
It looks like it's going down now. It's one day. People are tired already after 1 day of talking about it. So, yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi, good morning.
Dwight, what I call in about is something that I said. I also live in the community of Government High. I have my granddaughter that goes to that school. And when that incident happened, sure enough, I was there, okay? They're disappointed about how our persons were acting, okay? What they were doing is just showing an example of how the students who were there, where they come from. I often say to the person, these same kids who are in the school, they come from us, okay? And person will have blame games when it comes to blaming the principal, the administrators, the politician, the government, and so forth, right? But if I were to blame somebody for what happened, I first would blame myself, okay? Because I'm a parent or I'm a grandmother. I blame me for the fact that I didn't see what was about to happen, okay? Because if I have my kids living in my home, as a parent or a grandperson, I should see what's going on or know what's going on with them, okay? And if I'm at the place where they can come to me and talk to me about what's going on in school, then that's not a good place to be. We as parents need to put ourselves in place where our kids could feel free to come and talk to us about anything. And sure enough, person, like you said, may not be calling out why they will. Let a politician come and say the wrong thing about this incident. Then everybody talking and calling and finding something, to say. And one more point I want to make. We work with those kids in the school. But we are out of the school now due to the pandemic, okay? So persons who, like you say, person come on your show and they talk about how they're going to try to work with the kids. They work with the kids, but at what expense? We need to stop looking to government for funding and looking for government for things just to get us motivated or put us out there and help them. Let's do it off our own self, okay? Some of these same guests who you have on your show, and I'm not going to call any name, okay? They'll say they work with the kids and, they had program prior to this government coming in and government just stop and cancel and so forth, right? Continue your program, what you have. It's not all about government helping, government money, funding, and all of that. If you want to save this country and if you want to do well on these youngsters that are growing up and stopping this next generation from becoming criminals, step forward and do it. And a person see you willingly doing it, they put fund into you, and it don't have to be government. It'll be private entities will step forward and say, you know what, I see so-and-so is doing of his own. Let me try to put fund in. But you call these person, because like I say, you know me, Dwight, I work in my community, and I will reach out to these same persons. Some of them come on your show and be elsewhere and say, we have this amount of person, we want you to sit these guys, talk with them, or these females, because the females, the girls, just as bad as the boys. And you would be shocked to hear them telling you about how much money and what you have to appointment and all these negs. So don't mind them coming on the show talking. It's all about what you can afford to give. And as a parent, you have to make appointments. They'll tell you how much per the hour. They do nothing for free. So that's not helping. What we do is for free. We go in those schools and we sit down, we spend hours. Sometimes we get persons who deals with address. Sometimes we get persons from different other organizations who spend time, and we don't pay them for that. That's volunteer. So you don't reach way up there now. Why you got to be paid to do what you're doing? Then we could get together in one nation to save our people. Then we could be going somewhere, okay? And that's just my take on how I feel about it. Because this same incident, this will repeat. If not in government high, we're going to repeat in another school. Some kind of retaliation about what happened. It ain't going to stop there. So we need to get serious about saving this nation and stop looking too much on what's in it for me, other than saving your nation. That's all I have to say, sir.
Okay. All right. Wow. Oh, boy.
That was a very sober contribution.
Yeah, I'm stepping on a lot of people's toes there.
Especially people who have these kids in their homes. Not doing or saying anything.
Okay. Let's take this text. Let's call, and then we'll read this very long text here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi.
Yeah, Dwight, there's a lot of narratives, but to be honest with you, if, like I told Warren yesterday, it would be good if you could have some students from various schools come in and talk about the gang culture, and then we'll get a real picture of what's going on, because we're all in the dark, and we're denying the proliferation or the magnitude of this culture. And so what happens is the gentleman, he normally makes a good contribution, but, if you're not going to have police in the schools, the security needs to have tasers and a dog at least, because you have to understand when things may happen sporadically and very spaced apart. Nobody knows when it's going to happen. Nobody knows when somebody's going to hurt someone, whether they 15 or 30. You know what I'm saying? At that age, you don't expect for these children to have emotional intelligence with the type of background they're coming from, right? So, a lot of parents instill values. The little guy who stabbed Paul, his father's a pastor. I know the parents personally. Both parents are Haitian. He lived right in the front of my upholstery shop. I always talk to him, I even sorry to know it reached out and touched him, all right? I know him personally. I know the other guy. I know as parents also. But what I'm saying is, you need police presence. Let me tell you why. You need police presence in the school, or if you're not going to do that, give the security a dog and a taser, because first of all,
you really think that makes sense? A dog?
It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't make sense because people have no sense. You have to realize what's going on in the schools. Like I'm telling you, the school where GHS is a confluence or hotbed of gang activity because of the different areas that people go there that it entails. You can't see it. You don't live in the inner city. You really don't know the children. It's like, what I'm saying is we are in denial then. You don't understand the severity of the situation, Dwight. There's a lot of people caught up in this, Hello?
I'm listening. I'm
telling you, there's a lot of people caught up in this, Dwight. And so we are deceiving ourselves. And I think his father had an interview with Clint Watson last night, so I don't know. But the thing is, I just wanted to ask you one question, but I know people was driving the vaccine narrative, but I just wanted to ask you two questions. Are you familiar with Informed Consent Action Network, Dwight?
No.
Are you aware of vaccine adverse events reporting system? Are you aware of that?
Not exactly.
Well, you should look into those, and you should also read the Nicholas Wade report, because apparently Dr. Fauci was caught lying and being disingenuous, playing with narratives, whilst being questioned by Ron Paul, a doctor, about the origins of the virus. And a lot of things to be disclosed about the safety and efficacy of the vaccine via the vaccine adverse event reporting system. And these are all being held from the public, and people are exposed to this information, so it does make the media look type of disingenuous as far as this vaccine narrative. I don't want to get into any argument with anybody, but you all being fed disinformation, misinformation, and there's no general consensus about the scientific community on anything as far as immunity, T-cell immunity, pathogenic priming, antibody dependence enhancements. These things exist, and without their peer-reviewed published studies on these things, people say no the vaccine, but this is a different type of vaccine, and hence we're not delving into these literatures, and we think we sound smart by saying we're taking the vaccine. I don't mind talking about the vaccine, and worrying about the vaccine, but the fact that people are being forced into this paradigm. Have a good day.
Okay. All right. I'm having a problem today.
What's that?
Okay.
Need a vacation?
It might be. It might be. That might be it. Okay, let's go to that report. The minister speaking at the school yesterday. This is from our Taylor Ferguson.
For this incident, I was advised that the police had a presence on the campus. Now, are they on campus throughout school hours? No, they're not. Have their initiatives and their outreach. The principal spoke about Chief Superintendent Barrett and his presence and his office's presence. And we know that these are irregular school hours as well. It's not a normal school setting where you have all of the students on.
Principal Eloise Wim said she supports the school's mantra of safety first and described Tuesday's stabbing as an isolated incident. She said students are thoroughly searched before they enter the campus, and she doesn't think heavy police presence is needed.
I believe what we would have had in the past is a release relationship with the school where the police become a part of our family would definitely help. Now, what I will say is that we don't need a dray load of police officers. My thing is we have programs set, and I must say to the commissioner and his team and the others, that is in place at Government Heights.
Let's read some of these text messages here. Okay, so this one says, it's a very long one. Good day, Guardian Radio. I've listened to virtually everyone talking about the crime and mostly the vexing violence and murder situation at that. Sadly, year after year, blaming this one and that one, continually blaming everyone, blaming each other, and I've come to one vital, critical conclusion. We, as the Bahamas, must collectively work to change what is sadly now the sick, twisted, filthy, warped mind of Bahamian people. And I mean that from the young to the old, we must somehow change the sick, twisted minds. We could pass all the laws we want. We could go to all the churches we want. We can build all the family we want. We can put more police in the schools. We can take more guns and knives out of the street. But the bottom line is the mind. We must change the mindset, the way of thinking. As a man thinketh, so is he. As long as there is that warped, evil, twisted, filthy, prevailing, and dominating mindset or sick ways of thinking will still continue. This will continue our Bahamian society. We're going to have this crazy, dangerous, violent environment. Everything boils down to the mind. The mind is the problem. Okay. Some more messages here. Maybe nobody's calling because electricity's still off. BPL needs a little Jesus in their lives. Only miracle will help them. Yeah, but that was very rough this morning. Yep, for a few people who were up. But that was island-wide, we were told. Island-wide. So maybe some people are still off. This one says, you stress vaccines a lot. When will the government be in position to offer full vaccination to every person living in the Bahamas? Do you know? Also, set up neighborhood vaccinations. Okay. Don't know. But I believe everybody who wants one can get one right now. And that's the thing. There's not a bunch of people knocking down the doors to get them. And they're all over the place, the vaccination centers. But the interest, or the hesitancy, as they say, the hesitancy is high and the interest is low at the moment, it seems. All right, let's take one more call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you, man?
Well, we're here. We're here.
Awesome. And to your guests and to the wider Bahamas. Listen, Dwight, I have a question. When did the culture change in the Bahamas to where we are carrying knives and guns and having access to whatever we want in the school, because I clearly remember going to Uriah back in the 70s. And I clearly remember, going to A.F. Hadley and the middle school, C.I. Gibson and stuff that I went to, because I was born and raised in Camp Road. Camp Road was known to be one of the worst areas in the country, but I born and raised in Camp Road. My mother have 11 children. And I'm going to tell you, Dwight, I remember I am 54 years old today. I will be 55 in August. I remember my mother sitting us, because my father was and, he was always on the mission field, whether he was in the U.S. or in the Family Islands, preaching the gospel. My mother had to raise 11 children almost by herself. But we were always sitting in the front of her every morning when we wake up, and every evening before we went to bed, where she taught us the Word of God. She taught us godly principles. You understand? My mother also had to work, okay? But it's the home environment, is what you were taught. It is the love that your parents instill into you, how you're raised, how you're taught to conduct yourself and stuff. And, it seemed like the family structure has went away from that. The family structure has went away from, teaching your family godly principles and the fear of God and how to live in society and everything, and to back that up, Sunday mornings and, Wednesday afternoons when you go to church, either for Sunday school or when you go to weekly prayer services and stuff, those things is what builds foundations in your life. Those things is what teaches you how to live, a structural life in society today. But when did our culture change from what I was raised being taught and what I teach my children today? Just how my parents taught me, I teach my children today. My children, I'm not going to swear for them and say they would not go out there killing and fighting and gangbanging and all that. But I pray God that they don't, because when children walk away from you, you don't know what is going on, and everything. But that family structure that we had back in the days that molds you into the citizen that you are, that I am today. Dwight, when did our culture change to the point to where, all of that went into the garbage and every child is for himself, every child raised himself, and they have to live the type of lifestyle. I don't understand when the school comes to the place where we can now find guns and knives in school where, as the reporter said, an altercation started up and knives were drawn, like it's in the Wild Wild West or something. How do you get to the point where knives are drawn in school at an altercation?
It started in the 80s. It started in the 80s. I was telling somebody asked me yesterday, "Oh, this is this new generation." I said, "Nope. This was going on when I was in high school. People were bringing switchblades and knives, and craziness was happening." I told some people yesterday how the first time I thought it was like I was in the middle of a Western. I remember, and this is, at the private school I went to, the first time I ever saw someone pick up a chair and smash it over somebody's head was in my 10th grade history class, and these were girls fighting, by the way, and it's been happening. The rock throwing, the people getting hurt. Now, nobody was getting murdered, but people were getting hurt. We've had this, and so, of course, it escalates, and now they can't get last. It doesn't end when that happens. You have to get them back, and it keeps escalating, and that's been happening from the 80s, and it's been getting worse, and the gangs are getting more plentiful, and we are influenced by everything we're watching and listening to, and it's just so many things have come together, and many people who are working harder and spending less time with their children. All of this is having a negative impact, and you're right, the values aren't there. We're letting music and TV and movies and everything else raise our children, and that's how they're learning what's important and how you deal with conflict. You do have to call them out on it and get real in their face and pull their hair and start a fight. That's what you got to do, because that's what they do on reality shows and all the movies I watch. So this is the perfect storm. We've had everything that could go wrong, went wrong. It started slowly, but here we are, and it will continue until we are all determined to do something about it.
So now, Dwight, what do you do to fix it? Because you are right on target. You are exactly on target. It's all of the things that we allow. How do we now fix this problem to where it does not get any worse? Because as you said, it is getting worse and it is getting worse. So if it's getting worse, that means what we are dealing with now is going to be even compound to a worse state. Now, how do we fix it to prevent this from happening now? Huh? That's a good question.
That is a good question. Thank you very much. All right. And we have to all be on the same page that we want it to get better, that we don't like what this is happening. We are not going to say that's yesterday's news, why are you still talking about it? That we have to continue talking about it until we can really find a solution, until we figure out if we're going to mandate that everybody go to parenting classes, if we're going to have the state get in your business, get in your house and see what's going on. Do you really need that to happen? Is that what it's going to take? Because the programs are there, but if you aren't in getting your children involved and if you're taking no when they tell you they don't want to go, you're just like, okay, fine. No, at some point you can't do that. And if you don't want this, you have to find something. But people are like, okay, you're not interested, so fine. That's all right. No, it can't work like that. There are people who are masters of something, I don't know, sports, music right now, who didn't want to do it as a child, but were made to do it, and now this is the greatest. They're the greatest in their field, and they are excelling all over the world, and they are thankful that somebody did not listen to their no. Made them continue to do it because they saw that in them. They saw that they had the potential. Because sometimes children don't know what's best for them. And we have to guide them through this. But everybody's like, no, I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. Okay. Well, what are you doing? Let's take a break. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh, yeah. Why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? Oh, no. So many sons lost in the slaughter.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Coronavirus update. I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. A new study finds that the COVID vaccines are offering strong protection to the nation's nursing home residents. They are among the most vulnerable. Here's our Jackie Quinn.
Studying data from 280 nursing homes around the country, researchers from Brown University and Genesis Healthcare report only 1% of residents who had just gotten a second vaccine tested positive. After 2 weeks had passed from full vaccination, that number dropped to 0.3%, and most who did test positive didn't have any symptoms. Unvaccinated residents, cases dropped to 4.3% after vaccination clinics were held, and then a month and a half later, dropped below 1%.
Britain's Prince William has now gotten his first COVID shot as that country pivots to vaccinating younger people. He's 38. I'm Rita Foley.
We've got your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Any real-time traffic, heavy traffic on Smile Butler Highway, northbound lane as normal, northbound lanes as usual this hour. Fire Trail from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny-Williams-Darling Highway. Traffic backed up a bit on Tawny-Williams-Darling Highway heading up towards that roundabout as well. And Gladstone Road also busy, northbound heading towards JFK Drive. We're seeing the traffic building on Carmichael Road, eastbound towards Blue Hill Road, and from Carmichael, well south of Carmichael, from St. Vincent all the way up, driving will be seeing heavy traffic on Blue Hill Road, northbound lanes, especially if you get past Soldier Road, north of Soldier Road, heading towards the roundabout with Independence Drive. Independence Drive also very heavy traffic westbound this morning. You might want to avoid that area at this hour. Robinson looking a lot better for you if you're heading west, and Soldier Road as well if you're heading west. Elsewhere, we are seeing pockets along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road at the major intersections, and building traffic along Fox Hill Road northbound heading towards Prince Charles Drive. It's a real-time traffic in your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. We've got a robust high-pressure system north of the islands that will continue to generate fresh to strong breezes across the country today, while a lingering frontal boundary coupled with streaming tropical moisture will generate some pockets of unsettled weather over the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Small craft operators should remain in port, and beachgoers should stay out of the water due to gusty winds, high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents across all areas. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas should also be alert for possible water spouts. For all areas today, look for partly cloudy to cloudy, warm and windy conditions with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Once again, small craft operators across all areas should remain in port today. 77 right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit. 23 Celsius. In extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate weather across the country as brisk winds and hazardous boating conditions will continue through the weekend. So for tomorrow, Friday, look for partly cloudy, warm, and windy conditions with quick passing showers. For your holiday weekend, yes, Monday is a holiday. Saturday, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few light showers. In the tropics, we're watching an area of cloudiness and thunderstorms that's developed several hundred miles east of Bermuda. It has a medium or 60% chance of tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. We'll continue to watch that for you. Could become the first system already of the Atlantic hurricane season, which still doesn't begin until June 1st, but we have been seeing this pattern of early storms in May. We'll keep you posted on that one, but no threat to us at all at this time. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. Basketball fans, playoffs about to begin, and so you need NBA League Pass. So sign up, and you'll get NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean and enjoy enhanced safety features with our Visa debit and credit cards. Pair them with our mobile app and turn on transaction alerts. You'll receive an alert every time you're always in the know. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC Banking online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Sing whoa. Hear my plea, oh child. A song for my life. Rose up early this morning.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Thursday morning. Let's see if that caller is still there, and then we'll get to some of your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning to all.
Hi, good morning.
I hope you get enough as much time as Anton. But you know, these kids, you look at the things these kids have in common. They all have financial issues. And the rich kids don't do the things that these kids do, right? These kids, they saying all these kids need a program. These kids need a money program. You know, they live in houses that are infested with rat and roaches. The cupboards are bare. You know, they're working poor, and some are not working. You know, their mothers have to do God knows what just to feed them. You know, and then we're gonna say, oh, we need to teach these youth a trade in high school that you know that they're not academically inclined. But newsflash, the jobs, the people who have trades in this country can't find jobs because of the immigration issues. The immigrants get the job. You know, that's the way of capitalism. You see in this Bahamas and many other nations. You see, we need to advocate for adequate housing for our poor. We need to advocate for a livable wage, you know, and then look at the orange economy. We like to talk about, we need an orange economy. The orange economy is these youth problem because it's the orange economy that's affecting these youth in a negative way. You know, the music. You see, we talk about, look at when this thing started in '80. When did the war on drugs start? When did the gangster music? And we lift up these artists, these musical artists, even the movie stars, and who ain't selling drugs.
Well,
and singing.
we don't have to be like them, right? I mean, we can
but that's the problem. You see, these kids have a money issue. We gotta run away from that. And these kids are looking for hope. These kids are looking for hope. In the movies, the same. The people that's in these drug movies look like them, live in the same circumstances they live in. They live in those suburb areas. You know, we have to look. It's us. It ain't them. It's us. It's us who's greedy and don't want to take care of them. Don't want to pay our taxes and take care of those who don't have. You see, we looking for some vision or some vision statement from some leader. You know, we need a vision from God. We need a vision from God to do what's right. Righteous, not a leader. Come on, more time, 99 out of 100 times he ain't looking out. He's looking out for himself and his interest. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay. He's not incorrect. Most of that. that. All right, let's read these messages as we get ready to go to the news. This one says conflict resolution and anger management as a part of the, I guess you're saying curriculum. Well, can we get the parents in on those classes too, though? That's what I'm saying. The parents need to be involved in that as well. This one, here's a solution. Parents should focus on actually raising their kids and stop leaving them to the streets. We should focus on teaching conflict resolution in schools and ensuring each child is involved in an after-school extracurricular activity. Police should launch an avid eradication of gangs initiative, utilizes Fly Squad to do so, and the government should focus on community building initiatives, i.e. community and recreation centers. Okay. And yes, we all need a vacation. Yeah, we all do. Violence among these non-disciplined children was not happening back in the 70s. Okay. And let's go to the news. We'll pick this up and more after that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
Why are the senseless killing?
Tuesday, May 20th, 2021, and you're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news. PLP leader Philip Davis is blaming a major mistake on the part of health officials for contributing to a disturbing spike in COVID cases on Cat Island, and he wants government to explain how such a mistake could have possibly happened. In a press statement, Davis explained that a small number of Cat Islanders initially experienced COVID-like symptoms and took COVID-19 tests, voluntarily quarantining until health officials informed them that their tests were negative. But Davis claimed that those persons were later contacted and told that there had been a mistake and that their test. But by then, he said, those persons had already broken quarantine and infected others. He claimed subsequent testing revealed that out of a group of 23 people, 17 tested positive for COVID, a 73% positivity rate. Health officials confirmed yesterday an additional 2 people tested positive on that island Tuesday. Davis argued that nearly a year and a half into this pandemic, the system and protocols should make it impossible for the wrong test results to be given on a whole batch of tests. As he added, giving people accurate results is a matter of life and death. Whatever the source of the outbreak, he said, it was the subsequent mishandling of the situation which led to further spread of the virus on that island. Well, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis yesterday announced new COVID restrictions for islands like Cat Island, which are experiencing a resurgence in cases. Jasmine Brown has that.
On the recommendation of health officials, because of concern for an increase in cases in Andros, an increase in cases in the Berry Islands and Cat Island, the daily curfew will now be from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., effective Thursday, the 20th of May, 2021.
The Prime Minister made the announcement about tighter restrictions for those 3 islands as he contributed to the debate on a resolution that would extend the emergency order to August 13th. On Tuesday, Cat Island recorded 17 new cases of COVID-19, more than half of the total cases recorded since March 2022. Cat Island has recorded a total of 33 cases of the virus. On Sunday, Andros confirmed 9 new cases. The Berry Islands had a steady increase in COVID cases in recent days. Minnis said health teams are headed to Andros, the Berry Islands, and Cat Island to investigate the outbreaks.
And vaccination teams will also be deployed to these islands. Any other additional measures will be announced depending on the findings of the investigation team. And these recommendations, Mr. Speaker, will be made in the coming week.
The resolution to extend the state of emergency for another 3 months was passed in the House of Assembly on Wednesday afternoon. However, the Prime Minister has expressed hope that the Bahamas will be in a position to abandon the state of emergency before then. Opposition leader Philip Davis says they do not support the resolution and they are not buying the Prime Minister's explanation.
Yes, he said he hopes that this will end by August, but who can believe him? Who believes him? Right? Outside these yes men and those who have to jump up now to audition for whatever they see.
Honorable member for Cat Island. I don't know.
I didn't call you. I say because of yes men.
Davis and the Prime Minister butt heads at several points during the debate.
Honorable members. I'm giving you a lesson. I'm giving you a lesson in science, of which I said you don't understand.
The two party leaders also clashed over the vaccination program and Davis' vaccination experience.
I called for my second vaccine. They sent me a reservation. They gave me a time to turn up. That's why I turned up. Not that they didn't tell me.
I showed up, so I accept that there was a disconnect. But you were so hurried, you were there with your arm.
As it relates to getting the Bahamas past the third wave, ministers insisted the country is now at a point where individual choices carry great consequences. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, Health Minister Renward Wells has revealed that more and more young people are contracting COVID-19 during this third wave of the pandemic. He told Parliament it's believed COVID variants.
At this point, in the third wave, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing COVID-19 infections in the very young and adolescent population, and they are being hospitalized. Notably, during the entire first and second waves, COVID-19 cases among those 0 to 9 years represented only 1% of the total cumulative cases for each respective wave. Already at this point in the third wave, those ages 0 to 9 years account for 106, or 3% of the third wave COVID-19 cases. We cannot dismiss the likelihood that this phenomenon is a result of variants.
He explained that's why government is working hard now to secure some doses of the Pfizer vaccine.
Recognizing the phenomena of increasing cases among youngsters, the government has moved with urgency to secure doses of the Pfizer vaccine, which is the only emergency use listing approved vaccine for administration to the under 18 age group.
Wells indicated over 40,000 persons have taken the first shot of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine thus far, but that in a country of just over 389,000 people, that represents less than 10% of Bahamians and residents. In other news, the mother of a 15-year-old boy killed at school is grieving the loss of her son. Jared Higgs spoke with the family.
I love my son so much. My son rescued me. I was great to me. I love my son so much.
Grieving family members tell Our News the student who was stabbed and killed at Government High School is 15-year-old Kem Paul.
Tearing me apart, because that's my only brother.
Paul and another student were reportedly talking in the corridor when they were approached by two other students. An altercation ensued, and police say knives were drawn. Paul and another boy were stabbed. He died while the other student was hospitalized.
First time the office called me when he died.
Our News spoke to Paul's grieving mother and brother at their home off Carmichael Road. They describe him as a quiet teenager who liked basketball and track and field. But his mother, Marie Jean Gustave, admitted she says keeping track of him was more difficult since he lived with his father on Market Street, despite her pleading for him to stay with her.
Every time I go there, I say, please give me my son. I say, I know he have bad friend on this area. I say, if you don't want to give it to me, you have to move.
Paul's brother, 19-year-old Stanley Paul, looks down as we speak. Losing his only brother has been terribly difficult. He lived with Kem and their father. Sadly, he missed a chance to see his brother for the last time on Tuesday morning.
I didn't even get to see him that morning before he going to school. I saw him that night before. We was cracking jokes and laughing. And then every morning he's normally come knock on my room door and tell me give him some cologne and he's gonna tell me going to school. But I didn't even get to see him that morning.
The heartbroken brother says his younger sibling dreamt of going away to college to play sports and earn a degree. As his mother cries on his shoulder, he remembers their younger days.
Growing up, that's the only person I ever had in my life. The only closest person to me in my life.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
Well, Teachers Union President Belinda Wilson is demanding the efforts to improve safety on campuses particularly those in inner cities.
Provide human and financial resources needed to strengthen the security officers at schools, to train and retrain security officers, to install cameras on school campuses in common areas that are not immediately in the view of the security officer's booth. Purchase metal detectors for each school. Violence has plagued our schools for too many years. The time for talking is over. Action is needed now to address violence in our schools.
National Security Minister Marvin Dames was asked about the need for police on school campuses moving forward.
For this incident, I was advised that the police had a presence on the campus. Now, are they on campus throughout school hours? No, they're not. But they have their initiatives and their outreach. The principal spoke about Chief Superintendent Barrett and his presence and his office's presence. And we know that these are irregular school hours as well. It's not a normal school setting where you have all of the students on.
Stay with us, there's more news after the break.
Community. Come and see what all the buzz is about surrounding our pre-construction home packages. Already, we have successfully made it possible for multiple families to realize their dream of home ownership. It's all about value building, folks. Home investment is by far the greatest investment one will ever make. So invest with confidence. Give Desiree Mingo a call at 376-0318 today.
I bank wherever I want thanks to Scotia Online and Mobile. I bank from my garden. I bank from my living room. I also bank from my kitchen. No need to wait in line. Now when I bank with Scotia, I bank on my own time. Seniors, you too can bank your way any time of day without ever going into a branch. Find out more. To get started, visit bs.scotiabank.com/digital seniors.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2 and Step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
Introducing the new Slices and Sticks from Little Caesars, an unexpected combination. 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, only for $9. Didn't expect that one, right? Grab the new Slices and Sticks at Little Caesars Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, or East Street South in the Pineapple Plaza. That's 4 slices of pepperoni pizza, 8 Italian cheese sticks, and 1 crazy sauce, all for only $9, and only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Jada, jump in the car. Hey girl, your new ride looking good. Y'all, it was rough. No one wanted to insure me as a new driver, and cause I young. Thank goodness Jason told me about Shield Insurance right there across from the police college on Thompson Boulevard. Shield hooked me up with one solid policy at a decent price, minus the shade. Them other companies was joking. Well, I glad you get straight. Call Shield Insurance in Nassau or Freeport. They've got you covered.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
When does a simple meal become accepted the fresh market way? We're talking exquisite cuts of fresh meat, succulent fresh seafood options, the best in fresh produce, and who can forget our exotic spices and herbs? Come on, get ready to shake up your taste buds and let our aisles inspire your inner food genius. Homemade salted caramel ice cream, egg noodle stir fry, time to walk and roll.
slow smoked beef ribs. Oh, baby! Remember, go fresh and craft delicious with Fresh Market.
Welcome back. Leaders of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union are not pleased that the Atlantis Resort is planning to pay severance to terminated workers in installments rather than one lump sum. Berthany McDermott has more.
An official at Atlantis confirming plans to pay those 700 employees recently made redundant in 3-month installments instead of paying one lump sum. The Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union advised workers not to sign the form, noting that the union is against the move. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagula says the resort has faced financial challenges.
Atlantis was extremely financially challenged, we were led to believe, and they needed to get additional funding in place and rework their balance sheet and take into consideration what has happened with the onset of COVID.
On Monday, Atlantis president, 700 employees redundant. All areas were reportedly impacted by the move. Documents obtained by Our News reveal that the workers are set to receive their payouts in 3 monthly installments beginning at the end of May and ending in July.
So I'm sure that it was a cash flow consideration. What do we have the cash right now to take care of, and can we, over a certain period of time, be allowed to fulfill this obligation to our staff based on the cash that we have in our bank? And you know, I'm sure there are a lot of people who say, oh, they have the cash and they could do it. I mean, obviously, the business comes to us and the government has been pushing, and I want everyone to know the government has been pushing for the settlement.
Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis called this approach cruel and suggested the Minnis administration could have been more proactive.
And it's perhaps more cruel not to be giving them their monies all at once. We understand the situation with what's going on in the economy, but at the very least, it just didn't have to be done this way. And governments needed to be more proactive, should have been more proactive, not just when it happens, but they ought to have been talking. They should have been engaging with Atlantis.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, that's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Apex Award Signs and Engraving is excited about this summer's graduation. Celebrate your graduates with high-quality, great low prices. Need custom printing on apparel, promotional merchandise printing, or photo imaging services? No problem. You can get personalized diploma covers, plaques, plates, albums, clocks, pens, pencils, and so much more. Say congratulations to the class of 2021 with signs, hanging banners, and expressing appreciation on social media. Celebrate 2021 graduates with your own custom yard sign, banner, or poster from Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue, or on Wilton Street, a block north of McCarthy's Pharmacy. Open weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 9 to 1.
Your big day coming, what you want?
I know, but yours ain't too far behind, eh? Anyhow, I want you to give me washing machine.
Washing machine? What you want washing machine for?
Well, since Junior working on the island now and 3 people gotta use your car, I figure we could wash right here.
You got line, eh?
Not yet.
And if you wash here, what we can talk about?
That's true.
If you wash here, how we can catch capsaicin?
That's true, eh?
And if you ain't got no line, how we post for drying if you wash here?
That's true.
Again?
$1,600 worth of tokens. That's how much the washing machine costs.
Now you're talking, and I'll reserve the car for every Saturday.
Gone for that. So what you want for your big day?
Half of them token.
My lord.
So the wash. We washes you, cleans you, presses you 24/7.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
I been up by Pender the other day and I meet him riding around on the payload. I said, Pender! He smiled away. I said, man, Pender, I really like what you're doing with the yard. You nod your head and keep moving stuff around. I say, with this new layout, this could be a true drive-through. Each time I was in the way with the hand, so I back on the side. I say, and with this setup, this could be a real one-stop shop. He stopped him. This look like a Cadillac? I say, no. Or this quiet like a Cadillac? I say, no. Well, what make you think I hear a word you say? Anyhow, don't mind him. You would like the changes coming soon to Pinder.
Reggie gone to Sunrise one day and tell Miss Wallace, I need a band for my watch, please. Miss Wallace say, Reginald, do have a seat and we'll be with you in a minute. He say, well, you just suffer from this two-way. She say, suffer from what? He say, this. She say, oh, that. Well, I tries to tailor make my services them to fit the needs of all of my customers. Reggie get excited. He say, that's amazing. I get a couple of more watches. I can bring them to you to more. She say, more. He say, yeah. She say, Reggie, I'll be here from 9 o'clock in the morning.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock sales and repairs for over 40 years.
Make your way all May to Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow Tuna 5-ounce can, 69 cents. Yellow Grits, 2 pounds or more, 99 cents per pound. Hellman's Mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar, $4.99. Sweet Strawberries, 1 pound, $4.99. Fresh ground turkey, $2.39 per pound. Super Value Winton open Sundays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach open Sundays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
If you're a business owner, get ready because the digital transformation is here. As a business owner, you now face the choice between innovation and extinction, but you don't have to get left behind. Join the click with Cable Bahamas Business Solutions and transform your office to get the competitive advantage. With innovative solutions like our fixed and mobile services, hosted PBX, Bahamas Cloud, and more, you can redefine your business. For more information on how you can join the click, contact the experts at Business Solutions at cablebahamas.com.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:22, time for another check of your weather for today. Here's what's happening. We've got a robust high-pressure system north of the area that will continue to generate fresh to strong breezes across the islands, while a lingering frontal boundary coupled with streaming tropical moisture will generate some pockets of unsettled weather over the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Small craft operators should remain in port, and beachgoers should stay out of the water due to rough surf and dangerous rip currents across all areas. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas should also be alert for possible water spouts today. For all areas, your forecast today calls for partly cloudy to cloudy, warm and windy conditions with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas. Once again, small craft operators should remain in port today. Temperature-wise, right now, it is about 78 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in Nassau, 75 under mostly cloudy skies in Freeport. Look for highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate weather across the country as brisk winds and hazardous boating conditions will persist through the holiday weekend. So for Friday, partly cloudy, warm and windy with quick passing showers. Saturday, variably cloudy, warm and breezy with a few light showers. In the tropics, we're watching a large area of cloudiness and thunderstorms that's developed several hundred miles east of Bermuda It has a medium chance, about 60% chance now, of developing into a tropical cyclone through the next 5 days, getting another early start to the Atlantic hurricane season, still officially, not getting started till June 1st. But that is your morning blend weather check. Time for another check of your traffic for today, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. It is looking pretty messy out there, folks. A lot of heavy traffic in a lot of different areas. Independence Drive, both directions this morning, westbound and eastbound, you're going to be sitting in traffic, not moving much. That is definitely a spot you might want to avoid. Perhaps Robinson Road or Soldier Road might be better alternate routes for you. But Independence Drive, not moving. Blue Hill Road also busy, northbound, north of Soldier Road as you approach that roundabout with Independence Drive. And Carmichael eastbound heading towards Blue Hill Road, also seeing heavy traffic this morning. Then we've got Smile Bella Highway, always a hot spot, and hot this morning from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the northbound lanes. And Gladstone Road also busy, northbound heading towards JFK Drive. Elsewhere, we have Eastern Road. Not as bad as it has, but you're going to see some heavy traffic in the westbound lane there. And pockets along Burnett Road, especially closer to the schools in the area. And at the major intersections of Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road. And we've got some traffic at the six-legged roundabout at some of the directions, eastbound on JFK Drive and southbound on the Providence Highway. Those are your hottest spots this morning. That's your real-time traffic in the morning. Then traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Inside of you, your timing is perfect, ironic to me. Showing up the moment that you shouldn't be. Last time I checked, you're the one left. Last words you said, that you couldn't get less. It's funny how you miss me more than you could ever love me. How you couldn't give me everything, and now you want it from me. Yeah, it's funny how it's different now that I got somebody.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Mr. Robards, we are talking more to the news. We've been talking about a lot of different issues. COVID has come up and the extension of the emergency orders, but mainly we've been dealing with the violent nature of so many of our people and what are we to do about it? We were talking about the conflict issues, what led to the murder of that 15-year-old boy at Government High School a couple of days ago. And we're getting some interesting messages here, and we want to hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Those are the numbers to call in on, and you can text us on 422-4796. Chester, listen to this text here. Dwight, these boys are violent because they are acting like girls, huh? Well, this is probably the result of mothers being the dominant force in the family. Oh, my goodness. Men fight to establish dominance and not to kill. Women fight to survive.
Say what now?
Yeah. They go on to say that those people pushing for conflict resolution being taught must be naive. The schools can't even teach basic subjects. Okay. Wow. This one, if it appears that we are all living in total ignorance regarding the realities of life in the inner city. We are talking in terms of what should be and not what is. The travesty is that we are seemingly not willing to put in work to reverse this, but only pontificate, which does not help as it relates to workable solutions. This will require sweat equity, which in this country we are loath to spend. This will get worse before it gets better. Okay. Another one here. It goes back to parenting. If you have a house full of children and go to work for 8 to 10 hours, leaving the children in the house to take care of themselves, that's a problem. When you come home from work, you're so tired to even check the children's books and cook for them. One or two of them will venture out and go astray with bad company. With the job I had, sometimes working 12 hours, thank God for my mother and grandparents or sometimes sisters, I never left my children at home where I didn't trust the people in the house or who would allow the children to go outside in the neighborhood because you don't know what is going on in other people's homes. Always know where your children are and keep in contact with them. That's one way of preventing your children from going astray. There are many other preventative measures. Okay. This text here, Dwight and Chester, I am 64 years in age, and I saw a student stab another student on the school premises. I was between the age of 11 and 12 at the time in Claridge Road School. Yikes. This ain't nothing new. The forces of evil will continue to invade. Jesus Christ outlined the problems, and he gave us the solutions to the problems, but many of us continue to dismiss his teachings, just as I may be dismissed for even mentioning his name in this message. Yeah, the problems aren't new. They're just getting more frequent and more serious, right? And severe, as in you stab now, you may not make it. But people were just dismissing those, as you say, dismissing these incidents before as one-offs and not really getting to the root of the problem, what really caused that student all those years ago to stab that other one. And here we are, where it's a daily occurrence and people talk about it for a few minutes and then that's it. This very long text, yeah. This text here, the caller said the kids have a money problem, but for the most part, a lot of these kids are able to get food, clothes, and money. There's a mindset problem, no gratitude or appreciation for what they actually have, just anger over what they don't have. Also, affordable housing is needed, but people need to take care of whatever is given, even if it is clapboard. Not because you're poor do you have to be nasty. Cars parked all over your yard. As for jobs, in a lot of instances, the immigrants take whatever job is and whatever pay and save up to get more. Check out our Chinese brothers and sisters. They live together until they can branch out on their own as business owners. They are not complaining about where they live or how they look. They work long and hard, save, pool together, and then branch out. Why we as Bahamians don't get that? Interesting text there. Let's take these calls really quickly before we have to move on. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I'm Dwight. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Okay. Before I make my contribution, I want to express my heartfelt condolences to the family of the student, Mr. Paul, who lost his life at the Government High School. May Father God continue to grant them some level of peace and strength at this time. But Dwight, Chester, and the nation, we need a comprehensive plan in order to address and arrest the problems related to crime being committed on campuses throughout the country. And the longer the government of the Bahamas takes in being inconsistent with plans they met in place, in not realizing the importance of continuity, in not realizing the importance of sustainability, in not realizing the importance of putting together a comprehensive centers across this country that can be directly linked with the various aspects of civic and civil society to help with answering the problems, the systemic problems, of which there are many that emanate into crime at the end of the day. We will continue to be like Rome and continue to burn, right? Moving on to my other 2 points, Dwight.
I've got to make it really quickly. Mm-hmm.
Right. The Minister of Health, he stated that there's been a 3% increase over this third wave or in other words, 106 cases of COVID-19 in the ages 1 to 9 years of age, right? Which represents in actuality a 300% increase over what the numbers really were if you look at it in other percentages. But he also went on to state, which I consider a national disgrace, that he projects that it could possibly be in relation to variants. At this stage in COVID-19, after 14 to 15 months, 1 year and 2 to 3 months of fighting COVID-19, it's an absolute disgrace that the minister cannot speak with certainty to what is happening in our country as it relates to COVID-19, whether we have the variants or not. That's an absolute disgrace. That's a conversation that should be held at the level of persons walking and hailing each other on the streets, not at the ministerial level. Not has to do better with the management of COVID-19. Moving on to my next point relating to the Minister of Tourism.
You're really taking us far away from what we are focusing on this morning, though.
Well, you said in the news, Dwight, and that's the matter that you covered in the news. So I just want to make a point to that very quickly, please.
Mm-hmm. Really quickly.
Because I think it's critical to the nation as well. The minister said that that Atlanta's extremely challenged and they're doing all that they can to ensure that the staff receive their payouts, right? But the fact of the matter is, this government created the problem for the staff by negotiating behind the staff's back without their knowledge to create a furlough, which is a new introduction to our labor laws during these emergency orders. And on top of that, right, we have a situation where the labor laws in our country dictate when staff are made redundant, they ought to be paid before or definitely on the date of the redundancy. That's the laws of our country, right? And we don't have a situation where that exists currently. We have a situation where they are being told they're going to be paid over a 3-month period. On top of that, Dwight, final point being, the minister, based upon the labor laws in the Employment Act, at 26A, for anyone who wishes to go and research it. I tried to edify your colleague Juan on this the other day, but he told the people that he didn't think that I was correct. So I'm giving you the reference so you can go and look it up yourself if you wish. At 26A of the Employment Act, it states very clearly that the minister, in any case where 20 or more staff are being made redundant or laid off, the minister ought to be notified minimum 2 weeks in advance of the intention. Well, those staff are going to be made redundant effective the 23rd of May, which is not a 2-week period. And the penalty in absence of notifying or in contravention of the laws by any employer in this country is a payment of an additional 30 days at their basic rate of pay. And so I'm hopeful that the government stop being incompetent and ensure that the laws of this country are protected and executed for all of the staff and all of the employees' protection. Thank you for the opportunity.
That's being addressed as I think we're seeing that
I think that's already been adjusted.
Yeah, that's been addressed. I think
to the end of the month.
31st, right?
Yeah.
And Darren Woods did talk about it yesterday on the show. Okay, so let's read this really quick. We've got to go to a break. Someone says, concerning that sad, horrific government high school stabbing and killing, Dwight, I heard you and or some others say, how come they haven't caught the culprits yet? Seeing that they were all government high school students involved, you would think that the school's administrations would know where they live. Usually in situations like this, with police acting swiftly, they would have caught the culprits. I mean, I'm going to stop right there because I'm pretty sure that these children aren't just sitting up in their house watching TV. So, right? Or I'm sure their parents are going to say, or whoever lives in the house is going to say, I have, and that's probably what's happening here. Or they're hiding somewhere, right? So, I'm sure they do know where they are. Anyway, could it be possible that these culprits involved were outsiders that somehow snuck into the school wearing the school uniforms, as some folks are alleging? I can recall some incidents during my school years in the late 90s where outsiders penetrated our school campus during lunchtimes dressed in our uniforms just to carry out acts of violence. If something similar transpired at Government High the other day, it would explain why the police didn't or haven't caught the culprits right away. Okay, well, that's interesting. That's an interesting theory there, my God. If that's where we are, that's really scary. This one says, we grew up poor through Key West Street and went to C.H. Reeves, one of the roughest schools in the 80s and 90s. I saw horrific violence, stabbings, shootings, choppings, but I didn't want anything to do with those activities, so I made a choice, even though they called me soft, I didn't mind. Individual positive decisions. That was my path. Okay, good for you. This one says the government has to take blame as well as the parents. The government told the school and parents that the rod is wrong. The scriptures say spare the rod and spoil the child. Whether the rod is hand, belt, or tongue. Okay. Lack of accountability. It's always someone else's fault. Why we reacted. No self-control. Yes. And yeah. Okay. Complaints about Anyway, let's take a break. Hey, it is Nurses Month, Critical Care Awareness Month, EMS Week. A lot happening. When we get back, this is Morning Blend on a Thursday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit BTC Bahamas Pill Store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years with new ways to bank better. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future with new products and services and investment in the community, youth, and education initiatives. We are here to help you grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Preparing for a hurricane can make all the difference in safeguarding the lives of family, friends, and neighbors. By knowing what action you should take, you can reduce the effects of a hurricane disaster. Get all the facts of the potential of having insurance, impact-resistant windows, home emergency power, essential supplies, and a lot more before the storm. After the storm, where to purchase building or cleaning supplies, waste disposal, medical care, and more. The Nassau Guardian's Hurricane Guide will help you make sure everyone knows what to do in the event a hurricane approaches. Take advantage of this double insertion opportunity, plus 15 commercials on Star 106 hits. Contact us today at 302-2300. That's 302-2300, or your account executive. Will you be prepared?
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean to sign up for online banking and view online credit card statements. No need to wait for the post to arrive. Go paperless with CIBC First Caribbean. Online banking lets you access your credit card statements on the go. Visit CIBCFCIB.com to learn more today. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins. With an idea that things can be different, better, now. Imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast teas. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage egg and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And as we've been telling you all morning, it is a big month. It's Nurses Month. It's Critical Care Awareness Month. And this week is EMS, Emergency Medical Services Week. So we are celebrating these very important individuals. So essential during these last few months and always, but we're very happy to be celebrating them today. And we've got with us from Doctors Hospital Senior Vice President of Patient Care Services, Nurse Bridget Sherman. Nurse Sherman, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So happy all of those months, Nurses Month, Critical Care Awareness Month. This is a lot. We have a lot to talk to you about, but I want to ask you about the last few months, this COVID year, this pandemic, and we know this has taken quite a toll on nurses and EMTs and doctors. What has it been like, and what have been the lessons we've learned from all of this?
Oh, that's a huge question. First of all, I want to go on record again by saying Happy Nurses Month, Critical Care Awareness. Our EMS is celebrating their week as well. We began this pandemic in 2020, March, and it began with the Prime Minister approaching our President and CEO, requesting our partnership by the use of our Blake Road Western Campus to tend to treat, care for our people, definitely from the moderate to severe cases of COVID. And we have been in this fight alongside the government, working with our people to make certain that as many of them as possible come through on the other side well, and that they can go home to their families. Yeah. And it has been hard, as you have stated. We have had some losses. Yes. We had deaths, and we hear about those, but we also have had a number of victories. Persons who came in were ventilated, were on ECMO, and they walked out of the hospital. And we are so happy and pleased, and we feel blessed to have been able to take part in this. Yeah. Now, having said that, all of these healthcare workers, we talk about Critical Care Week this week. Most important, these are our intensive care and intermediate care unit associates. And these are respiratory technicians, these are registered nurses, these are certified patient care technicians, these are our cardiothoracic physicians, our anesthesiologists, all of the specialists that come together to make sure that these persons receive the best care that is possible. And having losses, having to work many times 12 to 16 hours a day is trying. Having to do so and then to go home to your families Many times, one of the nurses said you leave the home to get to work and the kids are sleeping. And then when you get home, they're sleeping. So there are times that these staff members don't see their children awake and walking around for days. And so it's a sacrifice. And I want the Bahamas to realize how much of a gift it is that we feel it is. It's a gift that we can give. It's a calling that you definitely feel when you are assisting and working with patients.
Definitely. I want to ask you about this before we get into some of the some other topics. But we heard from the Minister of Health that fewer than half of healthcare workers have been vaccinated. What do you think is behind that? What's with the hesitancy among healthcare workers of all people?
I do not know. I do know that our staff members, our associates, are embracing. We are asking our members to go in. That I myself have had my first shot, and I'm actually scheduled to go in on Friday to have the second one, and so I will be complete this week. And so there are a number of persons who are doing it. I think it's a personal choice. It's one that I don't choose to get into. I think our job is to provide all of the information necessary for persons to make an educated decision on what it is that they need to do. Many persons have different issues and reasons behind it, but I do believe for the majority of persons, especially with this second wave at beginning the first shots, we will see that increased.
Yeah. We keep hearing about this, about the opportunities that we're losing so many of our nurses to other parts of the world, going to the U.S. for better opportunities. What's behind that? What's going on, and what can we do to keep more here?
So that's a worldwide issue.
Yeah.
Worldwide, the United States is complaining now that their nurses are going to Canada, to Australia, some to the UK. Wow. And then you have the Caribbean. It used to be the US only. Now we're hearing about nurses going to Australia and the UK and so on. And so what it is it's a number of things. Opportunities, it's a personal choice again. Persons choose these avenues, even if they have young children, for example, and they're concerned about school and college. One of the things that I wanted, which is for me a myth, when we looked at some of the contracts that these nurses are signing here, it is really not comparable when we talk about compensation. And I think when you get into an initial offering of we will give you so much money, yes, you get that money, but you have to end up paying it back. And you end up with a bond, so to speak, where you have to work for so many hours or so many years. And then when you look at the compensation, and one example of that would be vacation. Your vacation in some of these contracts is your vacation, your compassionate leave, your sick leave, which only is 2 weeks. When you are here in the Bahamas, when you come into nursing for government, I do believe it's still 4 weeks, and it is 4 weeks here at Doctors Hospital. That is guaranteed vacation time. That is not your compassionate leave time. That is not your sick time. These are all separate. And I think what we need to do a better job of is educating our young nurses in really examining the contracts and looking at in the Bahamas before we make these decisions. And like I said, it may not be only for money. Some persons make it in a broader view of what is going on with them in terms of their children, in terms of education, and that sort of thing. We do have some restrictions. For example, in the United States, you have some licensed nurse practitioners, and that is something that has not yet been legalized here. But we do have some nurses that desire to enter that field of work. And so if that is the case, though we have nurses who have been educated as nurse practitioners, it is not licensed and recognized as yet, even though we have this bid sitting to be passed by law as we speak, and the Nursing Council is responsible for bringing that to the forefront. So there are a number of different reasons, but I would say to you that it is worldwide, and I would stress to everyone that you really need to look at everything, not only the compensation, but look at what the future of nursing looks like here in the Bahamas before we make these decisions.
Yeah. So you would say there is a shortage here? Do we
Oh,
have,
definitely. Definitely.
And how many more do we need? Well,
we need a lot. We definitely have a shortage. I do recall reading in The Guardian yesterday that the Minister of Health would have made a statement that nurses that left the public service in the last month. And so if you were to add, in these waves that the recruitment companies come in, they come in waves because, they have a number of hospitals to fill in terms of positions. Just like us, they have nurses who are retiring, nurses who are getting a little bit more educated, and so they're going into other aspects of the healthcare field, and they're leaving bedside nursing. And so the call for bedside nurses, that is great.
So what do you think? Chester, go on.
Yeah, do you know if the public service can even afford to absorb the amount of nurses that they actually need?
No, I can't answer that. Chester, that sounds like a question for the Minister of Health.
Yeah. Another question is the type of nursing that's done here, is it close or similar to some of the other places that you see nurses going to? Australia, you mentioned, and these other places. Are the working conditions the same or are they different?
So I can speak for Doctors Hospital. I can say to you that the three top ones that come here, their request, one of their requests first is to find out where the nurses are working. When they hear it is Doctors Hospital, they realize that their job is that much more easier in terms of medical record system that's electronic. Them not, being familiar with that in terms of the equipment that we use in the ICU on the regular units that may not be available in the public sector. And so it is for us very similar. It is the same. And I would say to you, pound for pound with our colleagues in South Florida, most certainly, definitely, we are operating at the same level and in some cases even better.
So what do you think can be done to entice more people to enter the field?
So I am happy you said that. Doctors Hospital for years has been interested in the entire healthcare field. So not only nursing, but also all of the allied health aspects of it that we need. The nurses can't perform on their own. From 1999, the Mayor Rassin Scholarship and Award Foundation was established. And that, for example, is an award system that doesn't even tie our students that achieve these scholarships and awards to the hospital. We just want you to pursue a career and something that can be attributed to healthcare. And so that award and that foundation, and it's very good that the hospital uses a portion of its profits that goes directly to the foundation, as well as persons can give donations, a fund through private donors. That happens as well. We also have a program called the STEP program, the Student Temporary Employment Program. And this is a 4-week program offered to students 18 and older who are already in university. And it provides students the ability to come into the hospital to gain an awareness and exposure, if you would, some education and understanding of healthcare professions. And so during this 4 weeks, they get to move throughout, because when you think about healthcare, you only think about the nurse and the doctor. But we have so many other allied health areas that we require in imaging, in pharmacy, and pharmaceuticals, in technicians such as scrub techs, anesthetic techs, ECMO machines, we need perfusionists, that sort of thing. And so they get to see what I do besides being a nurse or a doctor if they're not interested in it. And our organizational learning department has been established for many, many years. And we're proud carriers and supporters of the American Heart Association and all of its courses. And so we strive for our persons, our associates, to be internationally certified. And one of our most recent proud moments is just new for us. It's only about a month ago that we had our second cohort of emergency medical technicians, a total of 20, that the hospital sponsored class-wise with their books, with stipend, and put them in class for 4 months. And they were able to sit the international national registry medical technician exam. They were all successful. And they were all successful in becoming certified through our local health professions council. So they're not certified, they're internationally certified.
Wow.
And this is our second cohort, and that we have done this for, and we are seeking to do this again this year. What's interesting with this program is these emergency medical technicians, this is a jump off point for so many things. You can stay in this field and go on to become a paramedic. You can branch out from this field. You know physicians who've been paramedics prior to going to medical school, for example. We have EMTs who are now working in respiratory therapy. We have them as anesthetist assistants. We have them working in our MIS department. We have them working in our materials management department. And so they go on throughout the hospital to do other things that this basic certification and education would have allowed them to have the knowledge to move on. And then we have our Bridge to the Future program, which is the brainchild of our president and now CEO, Dr. Charles Digges. And what this program sets out to do is to increase the appreciation of science, technology, engineering, and math subjects among high school students with the goal of uncovering the next generation of healthcare professionals. And again, our associates volunteer for this so that we can expose these high school students to what it is to work in healthcare in all of these fields. And this fall, we will be launching our nursing cadet program, which will focus on our 10th to 12th grade students. It's a 3-year program. We'll go in at the 9th grade and find out who would be interested in nursing and direct them throughout their senior year to the science-based and oriented streams that schools will have. And then during the course of those years, mentor them, get them to come into the hospital, get them exposed to patients and assisting with patients directly into the nursing program at UB. And so it's our hope that doing this will get us, at the end of that, that's really what we call a 6 to 7 year investment directly through the nursing school to look toward the future. And that's so good. Our theme for this year by the International Council of Nurses is a voice to lead, a vision for future healthcare.
My goodness.
And this is why we're focused on not just now. Yes, we are short now, but what are we going to do about it?
Absolutely.
How are we going to build our future? And so we now need to go back to our high school and try and get persons into these streams and trained into this beautiful profession.
And it's not just women you're looking for, right? You're
No,
looking for men as well.
no, yes. We have male nurses here at Doctors Hospital, almost 20, and they are exceptional in what they do. They are specialists in the emergency room, in the operating room, in the intensive care unit, all over the hospital. And let me say this to you, we call them a few good men. That's our nickname for them. It's a pleasure to have our colleagues working along with us, and they bring something else to the table when it comes to dealing with patients. Our clientele, when they see the male nurses coming in for them. It's if they feel confident and they feel like they're going to be taken care of. So it's wonderful to have them. We're looking for males and females. Nursing is a profession, just like any other, and we are welcoming to all who would be interested in taking it up.
And again, you're going into the high schools as you plan for the future. Folks, are you listening to this, right? Somebody's texting, asking, how do students apply for this internship program? What do they need to do?
So we will be launching on our Doctors Hospital website. And we also have a Facebook page. You just stay tuned to all of those, just as we would have done for the EMT program. We will also advertise in our local dailies when this is happening. And we will also make contact with all of the high school guidance officers. So this is private as well as public schools here in Nassau, Bahamas.
Okay. We have to have you back. There's so much more we can talk to you about. Nurse Bridget Sherman, it's been a pleasure. Definitely.
Thank you.
We're going to talk some more very soon. Thank you so much. This is great information, folks. Great opportunities out there for this very noble profession. Many of these, we're talking about so many different things, EMTs as well. Many opportunities out there. And again, thank you very much, Doctors Hospital.
Thank you for having me.
Bridget Sherman. All right. We're going to take a break.
Have a good morning.
You too. You too. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we are talking about Abaco and talking with the president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, Ken Hutton. When we get back, stay with us.
The start of the new way. You know that the end of the old way. Wake up.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Government's proposed medical marijuana bill would allow doctors to issue prescriptions for marijuana to their patients ages 21 and older, which could then be filled at local pharmacies. Patients under the age of 21 would need parental consent for a prescription. The details of that proposed bill were published in the Nassau Guardian this morning. The legislation calls for the creation of an authority to create a framework for a medical marijuana industry in this country, including granting licenses for the cultivation, importation, exportation, processing, transportation, and the research of medical cannabis. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has indicated that bill could be tabled in Parliament as early as next week. Well, 2 more residents of Cat Island have now tested positive for COVID-19, bringing to 19 the cases identified in the current outbreak there. Of contributing to the virus's spread by erroneously telling some residents that their COVID tests were negative when they were later proven to be positive. He has called on government to explain how such a mistake could have been made. And Health Minister Wenward Wells says government is aggressively trying to source Pfizer COVID vaccines now that infections among young Bahamians, those ages 0 to 9 years, are 3 times what they were in the first 2 waves of this pandemic. He says the Pfizer shot is the only emergency use listing approved vaccine for administration to those under the age of 18. To date, just over 40,000 persons in this country have received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, but Wells says that represents less than 10% of the population here. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too? Of course we can. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami. So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles. Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal. So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to a Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. Former President Trump's warning didn't stop 35 Republicans from siding with the Democrats in a vote last night in the House. The question was whether to create an independent commission to investigate the attack on the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th. Our Mike Gracia's got the details.
During debate, Democrats and Republicans voiced support for the commission.
We need to get to the bottom of this. This is about facts. It's not partisan politics.
But Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene came out against an investigation.
The media is going to use this to smear Trump's supporters.
In the Senate, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said legislation. Mike Gracia, Washington.
Israel unleashed another wave of airstrikes across the Gaza Strip early this morning, killing at least one Palestinian and wounding several. Hamas fired more rockets, though a Hamas leader says he expects a truce within a day or two. There's been international pressure for a ceasefire. I'm Rita Foley.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, May 20th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards today, and we are going to be talking with the president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, Ken Hutton, today, talking about business, the economy in Abaco, and where things are going. That's coming up in just a few minutes. But first, it's time for your Morning Blend Business Report, brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, while he said it's troubling that 700 employees will be made redundant at Atlantis, Minister of Tourism and Aviation Dionisio de Aguilar pointing to at least 1,200 new jobs in the hotel sector that will come on stream in the coming months. Atlantis announced on Tuesday that the drastically changed travel environment led it to make fundamental shifts by reducing the size of its workforce. Diagler says that the majority of the 700 employees who are to be made redundant at the end of the month were furloughed. He added that as more hotels reopen and expand, more jobs will soon be added to the sector. You can read more about what he's saying and where these jobs are coming in today's Guardian business section. The Bahamas could see a rebound of more than 4 million tourist arrivals this year, given Tourism Minister Diaghiler's projection that the destination should be at least 60% of where it was in 2019. Bahamas saw an historic 7.25 million foreign visitors arriving in 2019, a return to 60% of that from the 1.79 million in 2020, when global travel came to a standstill and the tourism sector contracted by nearly 80%. He's calling it crystal ball gazing right now, but he says that people are known to make last-minute decisions on travel. Bahamar plans to follow the government's lead and will not require fully vaccinated visitors to take a rapid antigen test after check-in, stressing that they will be able to move freely throughout the resort as soon as they arrive. The government announced recently that fully vaccinated visitors coming to the country will no longer be required to take an RT-PCR test as a prerequisite to entry. Bahamar added that unvaccinated guests will still be required to take a complimentary rapid antigen test and are still required to present a negative RT-PCR test in order to enter the country. Overseas, the European Union and its executive arm today finalizing a third vaccine contract between Pfizer and BioNTech through 2023 for an additional 1.8 billion doses of their COVID-19 shot for Hungary, which opted out of the deal. The European Commission said the contract, which was agreed to on behalf of all 27 EU countries earlier this month, will allow the buying of 900 million doses of the current shots and of a serum adapted to the virus's variants, with an option to purchase an extra 900 million shots. Although EU nations agreed to keep on with their strategy of buying doses collectively, Hungary decided not to be part of the purchase agreement that followed previous agreements with two companies for 600 million shots. Hungary is using vaccines from China and Russia in addition to Western vaccines. About 40% of Hungary's population has received at least one dose of a vaccine, the second highest vaccination rate in the EU. The number of Americans seeking unemployment aid fell last week to 440,000, a new pandemic low, and a sign that the job market keeps strengthening as consumers spend freely again, viral infections drop, and business restrictions ease. Thursday's report from the Labor Department showing that applications declined 34%, or 34,000 rather, from a revised 478,000 a week earlier. The number of weekly jobless claims, a rough measure of the pace of layoffs, has been steadily declining since the year began. The data release coincides with the rapid moves by nearly all the nation's, the U.S.'s Republican governors to cut off a $300 a week federal unemployment benefit that they and many business executives blame for discouraging the unemployed from seeking jobs. Those cutoffs of federal in June. And on the outside, the electric version of Ford's F-150 pickup looks much like the wildly popular gas-powered version, yet the resemblance is deceiving. With its new battery-powered truck, Ford is making a costly bet that buyers will embrace a vehicle that will help transform how the world drives. Branded the F-150 Lightning, the pickup will be available to travel up to 300 miles per battery charge, thanks to a frame designed to safely hold a huge lithium-ion battery that can power your house should the electricity go out. Going from 0 to 60 will take just 4.5 seconds with a starting price near $40,000. Ford has calculated that an electric version of America's top-selling vehicle will appeal to the sorts of buyers who favor rugged pickup trucks prized for strength and durability. If it succeeds, it could speed the nation's and the world's transition away from petroleum burners. Closer to home in your Market Watch, we've got a look at your market movers on the BISX from Wednesday. Your market movers, Doctors Hospital, 2,000, moving 2,000 shares, closing up 20 cents to $7, up 37. Emira Incorporated down 10 cents, closing at 11.61. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,949.88, up 0.88. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. You're listening to Morning Blend Business. We'll be back right after these messages with the president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, Ken Hutton. Stay with us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day. What?
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you supposed to go that way?
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you. And your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong Salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And this morning we're very pleased to have with us the president of the Abaco Chamber of Commerce, Ken Hutton. Good morning, sir. Great to be talking with you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so I want you to paint a picture for us of how things are going in Abaco at this point. Nearly 2 years after Hurricane Dorian, where are we in the rebuilding efforts, reconstruction efforts, and a general sense of the economy of the business community down there at this time?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think the best way to describe the Abaco economy at the moment is schizophrenic. We've got the Keys, Green Turtle Key, Guana Key, sort of Elbow Key, which is Hopetown, all doing amazingly well. I mean, they're probably back to 80, if not 90% recovered, with the exception of some infrastructure stuff. But in terms of their tourists back, they're full. The Keys are packed with people right now. The hotel is here in Marsh Harbor. The Great Abaco Beach Hotel is doing extremely well. They've had some big fishing tournaments over the last couple of weeks that have been really well attended. And then you get away from there and you get into Central Abaco, Marsh Harbor, Dundas Town, Murphytown. And realistically, we might be for the Central Business District of Marsh Harbor, which is the strip along Don Mackey Boulevard, is still, the majority of the buildings are still in a state of disrepair, if not completely destroyed. So, you know, it's and Murphytown, Dundastown, where the major residential areas, Central Pines, probably 40% of the homes have been rebuilt. If you drive there after dark, you can see how many homes do not have power still. So, it's interesting because, some parts of the island are doing really well. Some parts of Abaco are doing really well, and some parts are still really struggling. And as the major population center, Marsh Harbor, it's still, struggling. There is nowhere to live.
Right.
There is no rental housing here. So even if you wanted to come back, if you wanted to come here and work, there's nowhere for you to live.
We've been hearing a lot about that. I want to ask you about that in just a bit. But why do you think that is happening in the Marsh Harbor area, the central Abaco area? Why is it taking so long to get things back up to where we were before Dorian?
Well, I think just the level of destruction that we had here. I mean, it was like a bomb went off here. So, when you have that level of destruction, it certainly does take a lot more time to rebuild. But, in between that, we had 1 year of COVID, which certainly did not help matters and definitely slowed us down significantly.
Well, so let's talk about what is needed. What is most needed right now? I know you mentioned the housing situation, but what will help to get this back on track, get the rebuilding and getting the economy back on track?
How long is this program?
Well, I know you have a meeting soon, so I guess I'll determine. Give us the cliff notes, the summary.
Footnotes is number one, housing. Absolutely with that. We're very pleased that the BPL has been able to get through most of the island now. Most of the island has power back, or at least has the ability to be connected to power once the structure is in shape to do that. Really, it's need to get our people back here. We need to get the schools open. We need to have, between having places destroyed and then having the schools shut down, we had most of our kids here were out of school for 1.5 years here.
My goodness.
Which really didn't help. And now that the schools are back, they're still limited in capacity down to, I think it's 50%. So we've still got a lot of kids that haven't been able to get back to school, which means that their parents are really struggling. There's no or very little daycare facilities here. So again, it's really tough. And, when people do come back, let's say that their house was destroyed, they're living in Spanish Wells, or they're living in Freeport, or they're living in Nassau, they can't get back very often because of COVID. And now that things seem to be loosening up, the price of building materials has tripled since January of this year. So there's added to that. And now on top of that, June 30th, all the concessions expire.
Right.
So the VAT and duty concessions that we've been very lucky to have that have tremendously helped in what rebuilding we have done, those expire and go away. So, we had VAT kick in on consumables in January, and that, stuff like that, and that instantly raised the cost of living here by 12%, roughly 12%. So that was 12% less money that people had to rebuild. So it's one of those things, we're coming back amazingly well. It's just we haven't had the opportunity to take advantage of the concessions and the ability to rebuild because of COVID.
Yeah.
It really stalled us by a year.
Have you been lobbying to have those concessions extended? Any indication that might be the case?
Constantly. I think the government, the prime minister is every time he sees a letter from the Abaco Chamber, I'm sure his eyes roll up and he goes, "Oh God, it's those people again." But it's necessary. We're not. We're just asking for the opportunity to rebuild. If anything, just the opportunity. Just leave us alone for a little bit. Let us get back on our feet. Things are coming back. Marsh Harbor International is, again, the second busiest airport in the country.
Wow. Wow. All right. So tell us exactly.
Even in the shape that we're in.
Yeah, I can.
So, because,
All right. So we're breaking up a little bit there. how bad is it? Is it because everything was destroyed? Really, what's going on up there?
I mean, there's let's say, give for instance, there's one restaurant in Etobicoke. There's basically one food store. Up until about 3 weeks ago, there was one bank. There was 2 ATMs. And right after the storm, there was a few takeout restaurants that were initially closed down due to COVID, but for many people, that was their only hot meal of the day. It's a struggle here. I mean, you're still in a disaster zone here. If you walk through here, there is no forests. All the trees have been defoliated and they're dead.
My goodness.
So I mean, it's certainly much better than it was, absolutely. But it's not the Abaco of old, and it's going to be 3 to 5 years before we get there.
Mm-hmm. Now, Chester and I have been talking about this often since Dorian, but is there a plan, a master plan on how things are supposed to look once we get things going? Is everything just going to be rebuilt where it was before and the way it was before? Or is this being seen as an opportunity to, especially with Marsh Harbor, to reconfigure and to do something better, more impressive than what it was before?
Yeah, because I think Mr. Hutton and I spoke about a master plan.
We did. That, I mean, I'm glad you remember that. That was my hope. That was our hope, is that we could take this opportunity. But, I think had COVID not occurred and had that not been a huge blow to the economy, not only nationally but globally, that there might have been a chance for that to happen. But right now, stuff is just being rebuilt the same way it was, and I think we're close to missing that opportunity.
My goodness. Is it too late now, or can that still be something that can be achieved?
I'm always hopeful. I hope we can do that. I hope we can achieve it. As a chamber, and there's a couple of foundations, one that I'm involved with, where we're going to be working to see if we can get the government to, all future building permits must include a solar component. We have no sewage treatment on this island, which is really hindering Treasure Key from coming back. Their sewage treatment plant was destroyed and it has not even been touched yet. So people cannot come back to Treasure Key until that's done. Some of our other areas are still without power. Love to see, some different changes to the way we design things, to relocate to better, safer areas, because this is the third time that the Central Business District was wiped out, or at least heavily damaged by hurricanes. So, the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over again, right, expecting a different result. Right. I'm hoping that, if the economy starts to come back, we can really revisit those and redesign the Central Business District, redesign our building codes and things like that.
Hurricane season just about here. Here we go again. How prepared is the island? Are businesses, or the infrastructure for another what's expected to be a very active season?
I don't think we're near where we need to be. I think we're definitely in better shape than we were this time last year. But we're nowhere close to where we need to be to, survive even, a minor hurricane here. We have debris management sites that are still packed with debris from Dorian. The debris has not been processed. It's sitting on the ground. We have, all the forests between Marsh Harbor and Treasure Key is nothing but destroyed lumber that is a fire hazard, and it's tons of fuel. We had fires last night, as a matter of fact. So the answer is no. The good answer is we're more prepared than last year.
Oh boy.
Has crime still been a concern on the island? I know there was a pocket before, but people who were trying to rebuild had talked about supplies going missing and that kind of stuff. Is that still a concern?
Absolutely. I mean, security is always a concern. I have to say that the team that's here now has done an excellent job. They're out there, they're in the community, and they've done a much better job than it has been done in the past. So, there's certainly issues, but it's much better than it was. Theft is always going to happen here. I haven't heard as much as we did, say this time last year, but security is always a concern. But the police are doing a far better job right now.
And is the dock area, is that back up to where it was before?
You're talking the entrance port of Marsh Harbor?
Right.
No, nothing's been done.
Oh my.
Wow.
That is a major concern of mine. We've been lobbying the government since July of last year. We're very concerned that we're operating off of waivers from the U.S. Coast Guard and the IMO. We are concerned that those waivers will be pulled soon because there's been such a lack of progress. Now, that doesn't mean the port will be shut down because only Bahamas government can shut a port down. But what it does mean is that foreign flag vessels, say Tropical or the people that come and drop goods here, will not be able to come here. They'll have to go to Nassau, discharge, and then local ships will have to bring it from Nassau or Freeport here, which would be a massive increase in the cost of living and the cost of goods here. So yeah, that's a major concern of mine.
So, for Nasuvians, for who don't know how things work on some of these islands, who's running things on Abaco? I mean, who's making the decisions?
Well, the government's running things
from Nassau, the central government. But I mean, that's it. There's anybody on the ground there who can make decisions? Do we have to wait? You have to wait for Nassau to decide?
Yeah, easy questions, guys. Thanks.
But there's,
I think it's difficult. I mean, with every government, there's a bureaucracy and there's a chain of command that must be followed. So are decisions made quickly? No, but I don't think that that's changed from before the storm.
Right.
What would we like to see? We would love to see, and I think it's critical to see at this point, more authority be given to local government, to the local government councils, to the townships, and to, maybe set up some kind of authority just over Abaco. I think the DRA was a good idea in the beginning. They've done a lot of good things, but they started out the gate underfunded, and they've remained that way. So they haven't been able to, I think, give the impact that that everyone envisioned. They've done a lot of good things, but there's so much more that could have been done, and there's so much more that can be done on a local basis. That all the decisions have to go into Nassau, and that's where bottlenecks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if they were able to devolve a lot of the authority to the local government and say, look, come to set some sort of authority up to say, look, here's what it costs to run the government in Abaco. And here's how much Abaco contributes every year. And this is how much Abaco is going to have to pay to central government in order to pay for itself. Now, you guys figure out what you can tax locally to hit that mark, and anything above that, then, you can keep in the local economy, and, you have the authority to approve or reject projects, developments, things like that. I mean, that's just my idea. That's just, we need, and do it for a short period of time. It just needs, I think the people on the ground here know what needs to be done, but we run into brick walls occasionally, or more often than not, because the bureaucracy is there, and everyone has the right idea. They really do. It's just that there's just so many hoops to jump through that many times stuff just doesn't get done in a timely manner.
Yeah. And there are many that would agree with you, Ken Hutton, on what you're saying. How many other people there on the ground are feeling that way about that, though, about the more autonomy for the island, for local government?
Oh, I'm certainly not alone.
Yeah.
and it's certainly it's not an original idea either.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chester.
A lot of people who would have said shortly after Dorian that NGOs were carrying out the bulk of the work on the island. Where are they now? And do you think that people were just relying too much on them?
I don't know if people were relying on them. I think that they absolutely saved Abaco, without a doubt, 100%. It was the NGOs that pulled our bacon from the fire. They did, in terms of immediate relief, in terms of ongoing construction, in terms of putting schools back together, churches back together, buildings back together, roofs on houses. They employed locals, hundreds and hundreds of locals. They employed them. They kept the cash flowing in the local economy, where all the other businesses were destroyed. The NGOs came in and started employing people, so they kept people employed and the economy alive. So, I can't give enough credit to the NGOs. There's still a few of them left. Some are starting to demobilize now. Samaritan's Purse finished up. Red Cross is just finishing up. All their International Red Cross is just finishing up here. All Hands and Hearts, who have done amazing work here, they're supposed to be pulling out, I think, the end of July. And then it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Let's talk about some of the key pillars of the economy there. I think I have these. You can tell us if I've left out some, but the second home ownership market, fishing, boat building, still a big thing there. How are we looking with each one of those and some of the others that you can tell us about?
Sure. The second homeowners pillar is definitely, that is like the primary pillar of the economy here. They drove the economy and continue to drive the economy here. What happened after Dorian is that a lot of them had insurance. Insurance really didn't have a chance to come in here after the storm. They might have gotten their insurance settlements in February or March, and then the country shut down from COVID. Well, the world shut down from COVID, so they weren't able to come back here. And it's only been since the vaccines have come out that we've started to see those second homeowners come back. Just in the last, call it 30 days, we've seen them start to come back to start to look at rebuilding. Again, the issue is that there's that huge level of uncertainty with regard to the extension of the special economic zone concessions, and the price of building materials is huge right now. So people are looking at in terms of, do I really want to come back at this point? And we need to get some certainty.
Wow. And the other sectors, are they getting their foot back up? How are they looking at this time?
Right. In terms of the fishing, no. I mean, there's we've got the Delphi Club is back up. There's a couple of fishing guides, but it's nowhere near. It's nowhere near where it was pre-Dorian.
Wow.
Maybe 10%.
So realistically, from what you're seeing right now, how long before we're even halfway where we were before Dorian?
I think we're looking at 3 to 5 years.
My goodness.
On average, according to the FEMA over in the States, their statistic is it takes 14 years for a full economic recovery of a area that's been hit by a major hurricane.
Wow. So besides the concessions being extended, what would you, Ken Hutton, do if you made all the decisions? What do you think needs to happen in the short term and in the long term to get Abaco back on track?
Yeah, with these easy questions, man. What's going on?
Well, they're getting some good answers from you.
There are so many issues here. I mean, and a lot of them are infrastructural. We need Water and Sewage has done a very good job in conjunction with some of the NGOs, Water Mission in particular. They've solarized all the water fields. So the water pumps are now solar powered, which is great. We need to get the port back. We need our airports fixed and brought back up to standard. We need the concessions to be able to bring not only the second homeowners back, but we need multi-unit family accommodations built here. We have no rental homes, as we said before, and nothing is, as far as I know. I think there's one proposal or there's one conception out there to build some apartments, but I mean there's nothing there. And until we're able to actually house our people, nothing or very little will change. Yeah. So I think the focus needs to be on one infrastructure, basic infrastructure, water and power, and housing.
Yep. And we know it's been a big issue with shanty towns there, and people saying that they will be displaced if these are demolished. But what can be done about that, which has been a been a problem for many years on the island? What can be done?
You are talking way above my pay grade on that one. That is an issue that's, as you said, has been around for a long time. The only thing that I would say is that the local feeling is that, this is a country of laws. And if you don't have laws and you don't enforce your laws, then you don't have a country.
Yeah. Wow. We know the cruise lines are saying they're going to be doing the home porting here, but they're going to be traveling through many of the islands. We know the Castaway Key is right there. But any impact that this could have? Could this help in any way to improve the situation, at least in the short term?
In terms of Abaco, no. And speaking as a, our market here is so different than the cruise market. We have most of our tourists have been here before. We have an 80% return rate. Most visitors here stay for 4 to 5 days. They spend a lot more on a personal basis. So, it may sound counterintuitive, but we're sort of in the same mindset as Harbor Island. We really, and just speaking on the chamber side of it, cruise passengers bring nothing here except crowds, and it would significantly change the environment and the culture of the Keys, Green Turtle Key, Elbow Key, Hopetown, stuff like that. So are we hoping we get cruise ships? To be honest, no.
Wow. Okay. All right. I know that you have to leave us and you have a meeting. We hope we can talk with you again. But Ken Hutton, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Thank you.
Morning. It's been a pleasure. And we're rooting for all of you, of course. We are hoping that things turn around, and we hope the concessions will be extended, definitely. But thanks again.
We've got our fingers crossed, and if you guys are ever in town, please come up and maybe do a broadcast from here.
That sounds like a very good plan. We hope to make that happen very soon. Thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Ken Hutton with the Abaco Chamber of Commerce. Okay, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend Business here on this Thursday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And it's time for your final look at this morning. Here's what's happening. We've got a robust high-pressure system just north of the area. That's going to continue to generate some fresh to strong breezes across the islands, while a lingering frontal boundary coupled with streaming tropical moisture will generate some pockets of unsettled weather over the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Small craft operators being urged to remain in port, and beachgoers asked to stay out of the water due to gusty winds, high seas, rough surf, and dangerous rip currents across all areas. Boaters in the southeast Bahamas also being advised to be alert, as there could be water spouts out there. For all areas today, look for partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, warm and windy with scattered showers, and the chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas through tonight. Small craft operators once again advised to remain in port. Temperature-wise, Freeport about 75 degrees, Nassau 79 right now. We're looking at highs getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 73 Fahrenheit, 23 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to dominate weather across the country as brisk winds and hazardous boating conditions will continue into the weekend. So for Friday tomorrow, look for partly cloudy, warm, and windy conditions with a chance of quick passing showers. Saturday, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy with a few light showers. In the tropics, yes, we are watching an area of cloudiness and thunderstorms. It has developed several hundred miles east of Bermuda, has a mixed tropical cyclone formation through the next 5 days. No threat to us, but we will continue to watch that for you as we have activity just with weeks to go before the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season. But that is your morning blend weather check. We've been business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards, who are talking about Abaco, the economy there on the island nearly 2 years after Hurricane Dorian. We were talking with the Chamber of Commerce President, Abaco Chamber of Commerce President Ken Hutton there. And as you heard, a lot of work to be done still on the island after all this time, and could take a long time before they're even back to where they were before Dorian. Chester, this is quite something, and I know what Ken mentioned the forests and the devastation there, and I saw that when I went to Grand Bahama after Dorian, but I can only imagine Abaco really took it, and what that is like for them there. And it is so sad, so unfortunate, because you and I have talked about it so many times about the need for a master plan. And I know Ken saying that the pandemic derailed a lot of that, the thinking, the thought processes into this would be a great time to do this, but this is so unfortunate and so sad. This opportunity is being
developed some years ago.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I think it was done by some college students, I think. But it was well thought out, well laid out.
Mm-hmm.
It exists. And this is probably, I want to say, more than 10 years ago or 10 years ago.
And you do think that you just cannot go back. You cannot just build the way it was before. Things have to be adjusted, especially with what we saw with Dorian, right? Things have to be taken into consideration, and you're just looking for problems, likely doing it the way it was before.
But how do you get hopeful though? Even as Bahamians, but as Abaconians, how do you get hopeful when your main port of entry for the supplies you need hasn't been addressed by the government? When the port is still in a position where you might not be able to have ships come in from the U.S. to bring vital supplies.
This is rough, folks. What do you make of what you heard just now? Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And are we surprised? I mean, the company master plans have been for downtown Nassau for right? How many of them going back decades are sitting on a shelf, lost under the shelf, right?
They're not even dusty, they're looking like Swiss cheese.
Right? They've probably disintegrated. And Ragged Island before Dorian, and the pace there, I guess, was an indicator of what would be happening here. But there is hope, as we heard, the outside on the Keys, those places are rapidly getting back to normal, as we heard from Ken Hutton. But it's central business district, Marsh Harbor, that is not moving at the pace that anyone would like. So what do we do? What happens now? Again, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. I think he said the key point, right? The question got him to say it, that it is, and that's for everywhere in the Bahamas, in my opinion, a local government issue. And if these local governments were really empowered, not just, I don't know what nonsense they have in the Family Islands, but real local government where you can manage your own affairs and do what is needed to get things done and not have to get approval from the central government for every little thing, this would be a totally different situation. This would have been different before Dorian, and would have been different in the hours after Dorian, instead of waiting for people to be able to land on the island to assess the damage, right? This is ridiculous what's happening here. And how long can we continue to run this country in this way? It just makes no sense. Tired of talking about it. We know this. We see this all over the world, how this works. Why does the Bahamas have to be different? It's not an issue with population. We know this. There are countries smaller that have been able to divest the central government of complete control over them. Why do we feel that we aren't capable of doing this? What is the problem? And the first word, when you ask people this question, the first word that comes out of their mouths is corruption. And I mean, okay, so let's say it is corruption. What are we doing? Just say, well, that's just us. We're corrupt. Or are we going to stamp it out? We're going to deal with that so that we can move forward. What corruption? Okay, so close the book. That's it. That's the end of the story. We'll be like this forever because of the corruption.
Yep.
Oh, boy. But anyway, hey, what more can you say? We'll let the people get back to talk about politics. That's what they love. Chester, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
I'll see you next week, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Aaron Green coming up.